Hey guys, VaulSC here, hope that you're doing really well. So the army lists were recently released by Parabellum for the upcoming Worlds Tournament event in Greece. I don't know how to pronounce the name, is it Chios? Someone's going to have to correct me on that one. And I think probably some of the YouTubers for the Conquest community are going to be covering the lists in depth and going into a lot of granular detail. But I don't want to do that. I just want to have a bit more of a overall rant about the state of Conquest game balance. The main thing that you need to take away from this video, and the main message that I have for you, is that I really enjoy Conquest. I think it's an amazing war game, and it's my war game of choice. I choose to talk about that on YouTube because I love it, not because I hate it. And I definitely recommend anybody who's sort of on the fence about trying Last Argument, definitely give it a go. Miniatures and rules in the community, all awesome. So that is how I feel about it. But because we're coming from a place of love here, I also feel the need to, say what I don't like about the war game or what can be improved, because sometimes making a few easy adjustments can make a world of difference for the people who play it. So with that disclaimer, let's just dive into it. Now, when we saw the army lists, and I've read some of them, but not all of them, we immediately saw that out of the people in the tournament, like 4 of them were using Euroni, with Euroni being probably the most powerful faction in the game at the moment. They're the newest faction in the game, but I don't think that we're seeing people sign up to this event with Euroni because Euroni is the newest faction. I believe it's because they're the better faction. They got absolutely buffed recently, and everybody's in agreement that they're overtuned. Not only are the regiments themselves highly durable and with plenty of special rules and good damage, they have that command stack system where when you get to the mid-game, you play a card and you can activate enemy regiment, and it just avoids any situation where you're sort of getting the jump on your opponent, where your opponent's getting the jump on you, but you can very easily get the jump on your opponent by activating things that are in a position to attack them rather than having to try and leave it up to guesswork. So that's what's amazing about Euroni. And then we have, I think, 3 people with Sorcerer Kings, which is the other S-tier faction right now. So there we go. USA, Kyle's running them. Poland, I think this guy did really well last time. And Raymond, no, not Raymond 10, we're talking at... It's got him, the Italian player as well. All of the Sorcerer Kings players are essentially running a similar version of the same list, where you've got the Maharaja Warlord, because he just allows you to get so many rituals off when you take a lot of goals in your list, which they are. The other thing about the Maharaja is that you can go, for example, Fire Court and Air Court, and that gives you access to the Homing Winds spell, which allows you to re-roll the missed attacks on barrage for a shooting unit. So what you do is you set them up next to a unit of Flamecasters. By the way, all of these guys are like spamming 4 regiments of Flamecasters because they're absolutely busted. And Flamecasters, okay, move up 6, shoot 14, and they're volley 2. But when they're inflamed, any 1s or 2s will double. So you have the ritual Fiery Dominion in play every single turn, because with that many regiments, it's just trivially easy to have it available every turn. And you play it early on in your stack. Your entire army gets the inflamed bonus, including the Flamecasters, so you don't have to cast any spells on them to get that. And then, of course, the Maharaja can put Homing Winds on your Flamecasters, and then what happens is you activate the Flamecasters, move up 6, shoot 14, and you've got 16 shots, effectively, where you reroll all of the misses, and any 1s and 2s double. So out of 16 shots, you're expecting 5 or 6 hits, and then of the 10 missed shots, you're expecting maybe another 3. So if you hit 8 or 9 times, that becomes like 16 to 18 hits on average from a barrage, basically. And then, of course, you've got all the conflagration stuff and the really easy hitting Burn to Cinders. I've been playing Sorcerer Kings, and like I've been playing an off-meta list, essentially, in the TTS tournament, and it's just every game is an easy win. So that sort of explains people taking Sorcerer Kings. In this lineup, we are not seeing anybody using city-states or spires. I don't know about you, but I can't think of a single build you could come up with either of those factions that is going to have an edge against Euroni and Sorcerer Kings. Maybe you guys have something up your sleeves, but I feel like if you were to take one of those factions to this tournament, it would be really as a meme. You're not actually, serious about winning. We also have a one Dwigham player who's kind of leaning a bit on the newer Regiments Lost and Found, I believe, which is fine, but I doubt that he'll do very well. Hopefully he does. I really hope he does well, but I think that'd be difficult. The Wadroon players, from what I've been seeing, are mostly going speakers with the Thunder Chief, Predators, that sort of stuff. Let's have a look through it. Oh, this guy's got something a little bit more interesting. Oh, lots of Apex, that's why. Cool. So there's one really cool list. What do we got with Raymond Tan down here? Was this the Thunder Riders one? Yep, Thunder Chieftain, Thunder Riders, Warbred, Predator. Yep. Okay, well, I mean, Wadroon are a kind of like, they're in a tier below Sorcerer Kings and Euroni at the moment. I kind of hope the Wadroon players do very well. The 100 Kingdoms players, mostly what I've been seeing is reliance on cavalry, with Orders and Seal Temple and Crimson Tower. The reason for that is so that they can get into combat with some of the Euroni stuff on their terms, and against the Sorcerer King stuff, being able to tie up the shooting units and sweep through the goals really well. I don't expect 100 Kingdoms to come first in this event, but the players who have taken 100 Kingdoms have clearly geared their list towards the expected meta, which is SK and Euroni. So that's sort of how things have been turned on their head. Let's quickly check our Nord's friend over here. What have we got? Blooded, Trolls, Stalkers, Golters, Blooded, Trolls, Stalkers, Finner. Yep, pretty meta for... I love the Sea Yachtnar in there. That's awesome. Don't see too many giants these days, or at least I haven't been seeing them from my opponents. And Arcadius was there last year with Old Dominion. Just going to quickly double check. Auxiliarch again. Beautiful. Love it. Big block of 5 Praetorians. Big block of 5 Ranger Guard. Man, I hope this guy does well. Athanatoi Legionnaires as well. Cultist, Legionnaires, Creators, Archimandrite. Yeah, I can't see how this could possibly win against those Sorcerer Kings players. But if he does well, I will be clapping my hands. That'll be amazing if he can do it. I really hope that he goes far. But the thinking in my mind is that this lineup we're seeing is actually an embarrassment. It's actually something which is not a good look for the game. What I would prefer to see when we see the army list for the, effectively the highest level competition tournament for this game is a range of faction, a range of strategies being used, and different players with a different take and an angle on the game based on their playstyles. But, at a high level, this type of war game can't really support that. But I partly feel like that's Parabellum's fault, because they have consistently said, we are aware of balance problems, we want to update the game, but we're going to leave it until after this event, as opposed to doing that before this event. And I just can't bring myself to agree with that, and I struggle even to understand it. Last year, they made a bit of a hot fix to Wadroon cavalry to Thunder Riders and Raptor Riders very early before the event, and that caused, obviously, our friend Ben to run his Raptor Riders list. And, he didn't win the event or anything. He did very well. He's a very good player. But the point is that Parabellum was willing to make that change before their event, and I don't see why they couldn't have actually fixed Euroni and Sorcerer Kings a couple of months out from the tournament, because you've still got plenty of time to write army lists and practice. And people that are going to this event are going to be building up a lot of skill and practice from whatever they play. They don't necessarily have to be practicing and grinding their specific army list. So I think that would honestly have been fine if they'd approached it that way. But no, they're making us wait until much later in the year to see a lot of reworks and fixes, and to me that's disappointing. I think that in general a lot of enthusiasm for this game goes away, and it really dips when you're going through a period where the best strategies for the game are the most obvious ones, And if you show up for a casual game against somebody and they happen to be, oh, okay, I'm just going to playtest this Sorcerer Kings list that I saw online, let's see how it does. And without much skill involved, they just simply play the de facto default, strategy, which is to build up Fire Dominion and just shoot you to death with Sorcerer Kings or something like that. It could be a terrible experience for casual players as well. And for competitive players, if they are lucky enough to go to an event in Greece like this, a lot of them probably feel like they have to either play Sorcerer Kings or Euroni, or build their list to counter that meta, as opposed to being creative, as opposed to being a little bit more original with their approach to it. So I just find that's a bit disappointing. I've heard a lot of people say that they felt like Weaver Courts shouldn't be released too soon. Parabellum has a lot of stuff on their plate to fix and to work on, and we need to go into the existing factions a bit more deeply. I have sort of stopped saying that myself, just because I feel like it's falling on deaf ears. I've been sort of complaining about that since I've started Conquest, but that's not really affecting Parabellum's decision to just release things at a rate of knots. It's really fast. Don't get me wrong, I like Sorcerer, I like Weaver Courts. I plan on collecting some of the models. I think they look great, and they're going to be a really cool faction. But I also feel like they could have, been announced halfway through next year, and in place of the announcement this year, they could have gone, all right, we're going to give Spires a bit of an overhaul and give them, a different style and revamp, Underspires and the other sub-factions, and then we're going to give Dwegum, a couple of new characters, new regiments, and just fix a lot of the stuff that's working with them and make some of the strategies within that faction a bit more interesting. And we're going to go through like all of the items and masteries for some of the factions like 100 Kingdoms and Nords, which have been updated, but there's still a lot of holes. I feel like they could so easily have just done more to address all of that, rather than just going full steam ahead on just more stuff, more slop for you to consume. So yeah, I think that we're going to give the in-detailed look of these lists a bit of a miss, just since I just can't bring myself to really care that much about the specific details in these army lists. It's the bigger picture which I'm more worried about. There will inevitably be a lot of lists in the coming days, YouTube videos in the coming days, sort of breaking down the details, so to speak. Anyway, that being said, Conquest, still a very fun game. I play it on a very casual basis in person at our local club, and I try to compete a bit on Tabletop Simulator, but again, winning the Tabletop Simulator events has been pretty straightforward with Sorcerer Kings. I probably should play another faction online, although then somebody else will be playing Sorcerer Kings most likely. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you would like to see on this channel in terms of content. We've got plenty for you, bat reps, analysis, you name it. So stick around, guys. And, if you want to support the channel, hit the like button and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon.